Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is morning. Well, no, it's good lunch, good lunch, good lunch. But we got a tropical storm out there, and the energy's good, baby. Let me see here. Got a couple of things. Let me see. How's everybody? Good, I hope. Gotta be good. No matter what the body's doing, we got to be good. This is a young lady I met at the class. I remember you, Rose. Friedman Rose. A nurse, maybe? I can't remember what it was I think you were. Anyway, she wrote me that says, I just flew today overseas to try to help my uncle, who 2 weeks ago had a stroke. In addition to his lymph cancer that had spread to his liver and his heart, he had chemo and another session of some sort, and 2 days later had a stroke. No kidding. I'm amazed that at these chronic levels that chemo doesn't cause more heart attacks and strokes. I'm amazed. When you look at heart attacks and a stroke, which side of chemistry do you think they come from? Base or acid? You only have the two sides, and you could actually ask that question of anything and everything you want to know about health. Is it acid forming or is it base forming? Because the body is a base forming dominant, and that's the food for most vertebrates. We talked about this before, is base dominant foods, which has an alkaline ash residue. All right, those are the foods that keep the body more hydrated and alkalized, and the blood perfect and all that beautiful stuff. Doesn't hurt if it's raw and alkali and energized. But when you go to the acid side, which of course that's what the lymph system deals with, this is the acid side of chemistry. Check. So then you can see that when that side of chemistry is backed up, that the body gets into acidosis. Check. And that acidosis then is met by an immune response called inflammation. Check. And that inflammation has calcium buffering systems involved to it, cholesterol buffering systems involved to it, not just interleukins and the like. This has a long, inflammation is a huge, and even you could call, say edema is involved in the inflammatory process. Oh yeah. When you start dehydrating under the acid sky, you're going to be pulling osmotically water into these areas to try and remember what water is. The universal solvent. Water is the universal solvent. So this is why you see that edemic response when the body's acidic. Then it would be classic. And that's tied to what? The kidneys and adrenal glands. When the kidneys and adrenal glands going down, you start to swell, particularly the feet, right? Well, that should be classic in allopathic understanding. But no, they look like they're getting away further and further down the road, away from any semblance of truth there is. So, but all of these things you see man's going through is just simply a reflex or a response of the acid side of chemistry that we've created by eating acid, ash, dominating or forming foods. And it's just what we're having to change, and deal with that sort of thing. And so when you give a stronger acid, by far a stronger acid, the acids that are damaging the cells, and we talked about this many times, the pH of the acids that are damaging the cell is the same acid you when you're drinking a Coke. When you're drinking a Coca-Cola or Pepsi or Dr. Pepper or whatever it is, you know how the burn is so strong. That's 3 pH. Well, that's the same phosphoric acids, carbonic acid, all these acids are the same pHs. And so cellular acids or metabolitic acids are around 3 pH. That's why there's bacteria in one's lymph nodes. Because bacteria in one's lymph nodes is responsible for taking that 3 pH acid and bringing it up or down, however you wish to look at that, to 6 or 6 something. So you're not on your knees when you're peeing. and you're not destroying urinary tract tissue and the like. Acids destroy. They're corrosive. Any chemistry book will tell you acids are corrosive. So when the kidneys fail to eliminate these acids, of course, it backs up. Those of you that have been on antibiotics with the medical insanity about the use of antibiotics going after bacteria instead of the real cause of things, killing systemic bacteria. So when you kill the bacteria in your lymph nodes, imagine that. Now, you have 3 pH acids coming out from the cells. They're coming to the lymph nodes through the lymphatic fluids, coming to the lymph nodes to be enacted upon by bacterium, not macrophages. They deal with damaged cells. So you have two things going on in a lymph node, basically. You have macrophages. In other words, you have those little, not only carnivores, but what is it when you eat your same species? Really. They basically phagocytize or break down cells. So you've got those, and then you've got the bacteria. So imagine killing the bacteria in your body, and this is where you get into the lupus, the Lymes, the arthritises. You've been on antibiotics, and what happens now is you have chronic pain because these acids, now because of all the acidosis, the kidneys fail, the system fails, agglomulation takes place, things become stagnant, acids continue to compile in the body, swelling then exists, calcium is pulled to try to fight this, then you get hardening of tissues and stuff like that, calcifications and bone spurs and all those sort of things, edema gets in, you get water, cholesterol sets in, and you got lipid plaquing. All of this is just simply a response to acidosis, because without an alkaline response to acidosis, the deterioration of the body would be unbelievable and fast. No one would probably see past the age of 5. I mean, it's just that bad. So these two sides of chemistry, like both sides of God, have to be kept in check and in balance. And so that's why you guys are here with all the beautiful love and understanding and godliness into this dark world of hate and anger and fear. You guys are coming in with the answers. You're learning and opening up and understanding the answers to these things. And it's making this world open up. It's forcing this world to, the negative forces to recede. We're more powerful. Truth is more powerful. Always. But, so those of you that are on antibiotics, you're just walking up to the door of even more pain. More pain. Because bacterium helps to get rid of those acids that cause you pain. So it's just those things. It's a horrible thing to see going on because a lack of understanding of the lymphatic system and acidosis. So, this man, this uncle of Rose here, was given chemo for his lymph cancer, which that's all cancer is deterioration of a cell. That's all it is. And of course, what side of chemistry is responsible for the deterioration of cells? Acids, okay, then that's the lymph, so it's a lymphoma. But if it's a lymphoma and they keep calling the lymphatic system into play here, then why don't they understand it more? You don't have to have someone write a book on the lymphatic system to understand the lymphatic system, particularly relationship to kidneys, adrenals, and skin. You don't need that. We've supplied that. Prior to his chemo, he has effortlessly been trying with vegan. At this point, he is, you take someone that's highly acidic to the point where cells are being burned or broken down. It becomes an intracellular acidosis now because there is no more able to remove waste, metabolitic waste external to a cell. So it's backing up within the cell itself, breaking its organelles down. So it's just that sort of thing. And then when you add a chemical to the body that is 10 to 50 times hotter than the acid that's already breaking the cells down, what would you expect to get from that? Knowing all of that, what would you expect to get by taking chemo? Well, healthy? winning the game over acidosis by taking a hotter acid? Not at all. And the sad thing is, medical doctors prey on the ignorance of people. They don't want to talk to you guys because you're too smart. They don't want to do just the little things you want to do in surgery and things like that. Surgeons are hurting themselves. They need to distance themselves from the rest of the pack and be the fine surgeons they are. And if you're not a good surgeon, be one or get out of the field. A lot of people are getting butchered out there by lousy surgeons. I mean, look at the one, what's it called, botched? Just in plastic surgery alone, look what you see. Unreal, some of these surgeons. So it's like this in every field. And I'll say this to you and in the young guys and gals. Be the best you can be. I bet you heard that somewhere, but always be the best you can be in whatever it is you're doing. If you do, let's say you want to be a carpenter, you do the very best and learn the best you can and be the best you can until you don't want to do it anymore. Then you go somewhere else and you're going to be a health counselor. Know the very best. Do the very best. Ask the questions until there is no other question you can ask. Ask why, until there is no more place to go with it. Be always the best you can be and then go on, because that only serves you and all of life, because you're bumping with all of life. Always. Always. And you come from the one, right? We all come from the one. The infinite. That which is all. I was going to talk to you spiritually about that, but maybe that'll come up later. Huh? But at this point, he is weak and frail, bedbound. Thank God he can't speak, but very weakly. See, they're just killing him. They're just killing him. And we allow that. We sit back and our family members go, let them kill him. But in a way, when they say, hey, you don't know what you're talking about, they're basically saying, let them kill him. Because if you don't get the fact that most people don't survive chemo and radiation, that they're on their deathbed and they're not going to pull out of it by some magic wand of God, then you got to be saying, maybe there's something else we can try. No? I mean, there's people that don't even want to do that, and the death is coming. It's like, excuse me, you have faith in what? An allopathic community doesn't even understand what the problem is? Yeah. I mean, this is a sick time in our world. Sick with souls that are unawake. Even a little bit would be nice. He wants to live, is in excruciating pain. The family refuses to remove 2 medicines from his daily intake. One is a blood thinner with the fear of another stroke. Well, I get that. And another is called whatever. Thank God I was able to convince him to take him off morphine. Well, that's for sure. You want to give him some pain relief, even if you could go down to, say, like an oxycodone, say 350 milligrams, or I'd do 350 milligrams or 325 milligrams of, say, acetaminophen with maybe 5 to 20 milligrams of that one. In other words, there's a way to get good pain control way down on the opioid scale, the narcotic scale. There is, instead of going to morphine sulfate. That one pretty much is the I'm happy and going out this way type of thing. So, but when you're in pain, which side of chemistry are you on? You're on the acid side, right? But they just gave him chemo, which has at least the pH of hydrochloric acid, if not hotter. Most chemo is generally hotter than hydrochloric acid. So you're giving an acid that chews up meat. And what do you call cells? You know, when I was in, I had to go in nursing and take IV therapy and some things like that when I was at my time at the hospital in nuclear medicine and the like. And so when I was in, I had to go to Votech over here, who has a nursing program, and I was taking a course on IV therapy. And when they come to chemotherapy, they were talking about the gloves and how you had to be very careful not to spill chemo on the patient's skin. So little old me and the nurse practitioner, who was a educator there, professor there. She goes, yeah. And I said, why not? She said, oh well, it'll burn a hole in the skin. I said, well, what's your skin made of anyway? And then about then she knew I'm coming. She said, well, of course, cells, of course. I said, but you want to introduce the same fluid, the same acidic fluid intravenously, and what's your vascular walls made up of? Well, she got the gent. She didn't like me very well. Cells, she said. I said, is that why you see the collapse of the brachial and all these arteries? So they don't do that anymore, do they? They don't come in here very often anymore, right? Because why? Because you lose the arteries. Why? It sucks the calcium right out of the wall and they collapse. You lose the connective tissue. What is calcium? Calcium buffering system. Universities have proved this for years, medical doctors. Not your bicarbonate system. There's a bigger buffering system out there called the calcium buffering system and cholesterol buffering system. Thank you very much. Understand the lymphatic system. So you can see why they destroyed. So you're consuming a fluid that destroys tissue. For what reason is it now? I forgot. What reason is it they gave this old man chemo? What was it for now? To destroy tissue. That is a crime in any book. I give you something that destroys tissue. Basically, I'm creating manslaughter, or actually more, because I'm determining I'm going to kill you. This is a very serious crime around the world that's taking place, and they don't care. They live under the narcissistic sky that, well, they survive, lucky chap. So when we get someone like that wants to restore their health, we educate them on the fact there is no such thing as diseases. That's totally bull hockey. That is something medical doctors made up because they don't understand health. And you have to, anyone that's dying like this has to turn away immediately away from anything pharmaceutical unless it's supporting their life. Now, the blood thinners, like Coumadin and things like this, dangerous stuff, but then having a stroke is dangerous stuff. How do you thin, and I hate to use the word thin because that's a wrong statement. In looking at, let's look at blood viscosity, thin and thick. Let's use their thinking. Let's look at it, chemistry. When you acidify anything, what is one of the side effects of that fluid or whatever? And you could be just boiling it. It's agglomulation. Acids create agglomulation. That is when you're cooking or whatever, you're agglomulating. You are making everything break apart and restructure, remagnetize again, rebond again. Not the same electrical food it was. Everything rebonds, and finally, in the last few years, they were able to admit that pasteurized milk doesn't give you calcium. That it actually can deplete calcium out of your body. Does anybody want to know why that is? Well, they weren't going to tell anybody. See, so you have to understand, anything that has an acid ash to it can enact the calcium buffer system. In other words, the body's going to steal calcium out of the connective tissue or skeletal tissue to try to stop this acidosis, because acids chew up what? Tissue, cells. That's why there's so much pain and why people break down and they look so emaciated, because acids destroy you. And yet we have a huge modality trying to convince people this is the only way they know, is to pour this hotter acid into the body or burn it out with radiation. That's not even logical. It exceeds any bounds of logictivity of anything you could even comprehend. It doesn't make chemical sense, electrical sense. It doesn't make sense in any of the sciences that's going on here in allopathy thinking. And yet, everybody thinks they're science, and people donate millions and millions to these people. And nothing has changed under the sky for how long? Yeah, Just more bad meds after more bad meds after more bad meds. More fatal events, more fatal events. It's a nightmare. Nightmare. So you must understand, as a person that's life is almost over physically, what you're up against. And you're up against a system. You're not up against a disease anymore. You're not up against anything. That's bullcrap. You're up against the largest system in your human body that's fluid-based, that deals with acids, and that itself has become so acidic that stagnation of this system has existed. So imagine stagnation of your sewer system in your house, but it could smell everywhere because it runs through every room. You know, every cell has sewage fluids running around it. Interstitially, that is the dominant fluid, interstitially. Interstitially means around your cells, and every cell stands by itself with interstitial spaces around it. How do we get to them? How do we feed a cell? See? Then you've got blood or lymph interstitially. And remember, interstitial fluid is 75 to 80% lymph. Why would the very fluid that gets around a cell, that protects it. Oh, I said protect, didn't I? Oh, that's not the blood. Oh, wait a minute. Blood doesn't protect a cell. It does in one way. It's alkalinity. But the main protector of the cell is the lymphatic system. You daggone right. The body is a food processor, just like a car. It's an energy processor. It's a carbon processor. And the residues coming out is acidic. And you have to have protection against these acids. And when you lose that protection, that's what everybody's seeing. The acid blowback. How deep does it go? Acute, subacute, chronic, and degenerative. Take your pick. Where are you on that scale? That's all we're seeing. And there's different names of diseases and for different locations on those 4 stages. And learning those is not difficult. And then you're way ahead. If I'm this uncle, I'm immediately going on a grape diet. I'm going to find those organic, seedless Concord grapes. I'm going to be looking all over the world. I'm going to be looking for the best food on the planet. I'm going to look for mangoes. This is perfect mango season. And mine's about ready. You're going to see them coming. And these must be late this year. That's good, though, in a way, because I'm getting everybody else's mangoes, but then mine's coming in, so it's like, oh. But that's the first thing I'm doing. I'm 100% fruits, berries, and melons, and that's it, period, end of story. The uncle might go through some healing crisis, some radical stuff, but this guy, they're going to deplete him down to nothing. You know, when you're older, I take it he's older, because I kind of know your age, so I would say he's probably not really old, but you know what? They'll just deplete him and deplete him and deplete him. Acids deplete you and chew on you and break you down. How's he going to come out of that? See, unless he interjects or someone interjects, there's no coming out because they don't know how to pull someone out of this. The medical doctors do not know how to pull anybody out of any of these states, but let alone chronic and degenerative, particularly degenerative. That's like, well, they don't understand what causes these 4 stages in the first place. So this is people have to wake up and understand these things, and then they got the aha moment. Now I know why I and everybody else is suffering. Might not like the answer always, because it comes back to you and what you're eating. The chemistry you're interfacing with, whether it's working, eating, playing, whatever. Chemistry is chemistry. If you interface with foreign chemistry, and that includes most of the food that people eat, particularly acid ash foods, which is foreign chemistry to the human body, you're going to get a blowback. And in time, the blowback is not fun. Full of pain, acids, and the only way to get you out of pain is to suppress the nervous system. The problem with suppressing the nervous system is it's needed in all chemical reactions. Your uncle needs a nervous system more now than anything. And they're destroying that. So it's a mess. It's a big mess. And your uncle's got to pull himself out of that. Now, what's a perfect blood thinner? Perfect, I'll just use the word thinner, but that's not an appropriate name for this. The proper pH of the blood. You move that blood pH just a fraction, and blood cells start sticking. And some of you have had that live blood cell analysis where you see your red blood cells following each other like choo-choo trains sticking to each other. or worse yet, clustering? Yeah, no. But that is from an acid ash forming diet and an enzymatic low diet. You put enzymes in a body from live and it'll start breaking these things apart. So when you consume, which food would be the most powerful food in correcting blood viscosity and pH? Without any harmful side effects whatsoever, like in coumadin. Fruits, berries, and melons. Far better than vegetables. Far better. Matter of fact, what's the vitamin K scare and the P and all that kind of stuff? Fruits, berries, and melons are the best for blood viscosity and pH there is, because they match, in most cases, the blood pH and viscosity. Absolutely. Excellent food source. They are the human food source, whether one likes it or not. No, you adapt your life to that, But I'm this uncle. I'm going immediately on fruits, berries, and melons. I'm going to try to get this chemo out of me as fast as I can. I'm going to get these kidneys to filter. I'm going to drive fast, 24 hours, 36 hours. I need my kidneys filtering yesterday because I've got liver involvement. Where else? You got lymph involvement. Let's put it that way. It doesn't matter what organs are being chewed on, because it's systemic. That's what that gets me about them. Your cancer's moved on you. Oh, really? Like I'm a cancer. I'm a disease. I'm awake. I'm my own consciousness, and I'm in there gonna get you. Oh, man has to wake up to they talk to people like they're 1-year-olds. And even a 1-year-old would be insulted sometimes because you got these gigantic beings in little bodies. It's the second cigarette I've seen that lady smoke within half hour. Thank God I was able to. Okay. Meanwhile, I have been giving him juice. Great. Excellent. Since he can't eat. Oh, yeah. Let's just destroy the body until they can't even friggin' eat anymore. You know what? I love it. Well, the stroke. All right, so stroke, where are you going? First of all, what are we going to do with this guy? First of all, the problem is we've got a lymphoma going on, but we also have poor circulation going on. So we have a little quandary, in my opinion, because since tumors are generally interstitial fluid, then there is blood involved. So when I increase blood flow, I feel like I'm increasing it to the tumor as well. It's just I'm real cautious with that. At least upper circulation. You got to have upper circulation in brain and nerve. You got to start rebuilding the neurons, and you have to start getting blood flow in the brain more aggressively. At the same time, what else do we have to do? We've got to get the lymph moving out of the head, out of the body, and get these lymph nodes opened up and filtering through the kidneys, right? So you're after the kidneys and the adrenal glands. You're after your uncle's kidneys and adrenal glands. You're also after the lymph system, but I would only use one lymphatic formula at first, because this guy's really backed up and they've just destroyed a lot of tissue. The tissue they're destroyed has to go where? To the lymph nodes, which are already backed up. They don't get that. These things, when you damage tissue, just disappear magically. It's amazing. So I'm going out that way. If he's really, really depleted, then I am going on a... I might interject some green drinks, a little parsley, dandelion green, if I can find that. I'm going to interject a little energy, a little adrenal power, a little green, a little chlorophyll, but not much, because I need that energy and the power and the nerve power of the fruits and the berries and the melons. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going after this guy in that way. Blood-wise, I need that circulation formula. This is where they might get a little catchy up here, but the problem isn't the blood. The problem is the lymph system, and that includes why he stroked. He didn't stroke because of the blood. The blood is always alkaline. Why? Because it uses the calcium buffering system, not the bicarbonate system. It'll still, and the proof is varicose veins, spider veins, herniations, aneurysms. How do you explain those? And the only explanation is simple. Very, very simple. Calcium is on the good side of the chain. Acids love to suck the electrolytes out of, or the electrons out of calcium. The problem is sucking calcium out of matrix is that it becomes more matrix because you're in the presence of acids again, proteins, and then of course then you get the rebonding. Yeah, then you get the bone spurs and stuff. I took him along all your herbs. I must speak to you urgently. Please, please kindly call me at your earliest convenience. Thank you so much for being so kind. You want a caller? You want a caller?
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system. 347782749
All right, we
is
know
not
that.
available. At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hey, Rose. Dr. Morse here. Honey, I was just shooting a video talking about your uncle here, honey. So I'll try to get this video up as soon as I can. Maybe I'll let this one go up real quick and I'll come back and shoot another one. But I was going to call you on the YouTube and talk to you about your uncle. So I gave you what to do on the YouTube with your uncle. But remember upper circulation. I'm worried about the cancer and lower circulation, but he needs upper circulation at the very least for the stroke and brain and nerve. Fruits, berries, and melons only. And you know you're going after those kidneys and getting filtered, and you're going after the adrenal glands to bump up the kidneys. Only one lymphatic formula at first I would. Definitely the liver, gallbladder. Go after him aggressively in that way. But at the same time, you know, you might get him a chlorophyll-rich drink once in a blue moon, like a dandelion green, parsley, cilantro, some real powerful adrenal kidney mix. Throw some beets in there. Beets are extremely strong at cleaning out the liver and kidneys. Real powerful. So you can give him a little beet juice and that would work real well. And then take him on down the road this way. And in terms of blood thinners, the perfect blood thinner on the planet is not a thinner. It makes the blood viscosity perfect. It's fruits, berries, and melons. The perfect food to keep the blood perfectly. And then the circulation for him is keep the blood perfect. So you won't need so much of that. It is the lymph system is where the vascular wall is swollen. It's where it all is swollen. It's the lymph system again, as you know, sweetheart. So lots of love to you, Rose. I'll try to get you later. Thank you much. Well, we tried, but that's what I would do with that uncle, because you're getting him to the point where he's so fragile that if you're not real careful, you're going to kill him. So you got to be real careful what you do with this guy. Times in detox is why I did the greens at first, kind of get, because you don't know what his body's lymph system looks like. It's obviously backed up. It doesn't have to be chronic, because you can have a lymph node swollen in an acute condition. But depending upon the genetic stance or awareness of a cell, depends on how quick an acid will convert it. Look at these babies coming in with cancer cells already. So that shows you these cells are already atypical at that level, at conception almost. It's like, what? I mean, when you really trace it back and look at genetics and this sort of thing. Excuse me. We got a heck of a storm. I feel like I'd like to get this up here before lunch. I'll do a couple more. Maybe we'll break and start a whole new video. Would you like that? And that way she can get that. Maybe we can get that up and she can look at that. Her uncle can look at that. All right. This is Bethany. Should I take your healthy pituitary capsules or your female reproductive tonic? Oh, good question. Good question. You know why she's asking that? She's asking should she take the healthy pituitary capsules or the female reproductive tonic capsules, because I have pituitary herbs in that. Smart question. I'm a 29-year-old with hyperandrogenism, or whatever you call it. Androgenism. It always gets me. Hormonal acne. Well, if you're estrogen dominance, I'm not sure. I think you could go after that pituitary, no question, but I'd do it through the female reproductive area. I wouldn't hit the pituitary too hard unless you see a lacuna right there at the pituitary area. I would probably do that. Remember, when you kicking up estrogen in your monthly cycles, you're kicking up an acid. When you kick up an acid, that's when you start to see more symptoms. Even if it's a low acid like estrogen. This is a beneficial acid, but it also can stir up the mix, like your hormonal acne. But it says, again, here's a good example of acid on top of acid, is a lady's monthly cycle. When she starts to see more problems and symptoms because acids have kicked up in her body. And when you take a woman that's highly acidic on top of that, and her glands are down, boy, she can have the worst ride of her lifetime. And that's not right or fair to females. So, this all needs to correct. And she's got lipomas. Okay, so this is me, sweetheart. You're very acidic, of course, and you're coagulating your lipids. And this is under my left armpit. So you want to be careful here because of the left breast and the left lymph nodes and all of that. So you want to get yourself up on a fruit and berry melon diet. Hit after that. Get your eyes. Take a look at your eyes. What do your lymph system look like at your age? 29 years old. What'd your mom give you? What's your kidneys look like? What's your adrenals look like? What's your blood pressure on each side of your arms? What's your basal temperatures under your arm? What's your thyroid doing? What's your adrenals doing? Top number of blood pressure. Is it real low? Below 120? That's neurotransmitters. That's fatigue and tiredness. And of course, it can affect the cortex with all the cortisols and all the mineral utilizations and all the other stuff out of the adrenals. And if your pituitary is down, then your monthly cycles can be off. Just a horde of things can go down with you, including thyroid, parathyroid, and all the other stuff. All right, here she goes. She has your regular cycle. Yeah, definitely pituitary. Definitely pituitary. So you can try the female reproductive formula if you want, or you can do the pituitary herbal and add the parathyroid glandular and just take care of that parathyroid just in case you want to have babies and you don't want any postpartum depression or any calcium problems with yourself or with your children. You might want to, as you go out to the pituitary, just bump on that parathyroid, say for 1 bottle or something. Probably wouldn't hurt. And I track my temperature. Oh, wow. Smart girl here. Chicken and sugars have been the main culprits in causing ovulation problems. Well, anything acidic, I think you're going to find a little more involvement. When something's acidic, you're going to get a little more bump from that. I've tried being a raw vegan, but I'm also having troubles with my insulin. Ho, ho, ho. So dates, fruits can be a problem. Oh, well, if this is, at your age, if this is not insulin from the beta cells, and it is actually your adrenal metabolism of that would explain it, because it'd be low cortisol as well. That would explain things. Also giving you estrogenic or estrogen dominance, because your progesterone levels would be lower. Very difficult through blood work to determine accurate hormonal levels. I don't care what these endocrinologists say. Blood work hormonal levels are very inaccurate in determining what the body needs. I'm going to tell you. Some of these are introduced interstitially, so very difficult. You have to look at symptomology, knowing what each steroid does and for. So I would say this: go after your adrenal gland, sweetheart, and your kidneys. Couldn't hurt to go after the liver. Go after your nervous system as well. That could be another issue here that's coming to me. So you want to go after that as well. I would do the pituitary herbal with a parathyroid. Just do that for 1 month. The next month, cut down to the female reproductive formula and tone the ovaries and the uterus with it. Good. Fix this up. She would like to have children in around 3 years. This is a smart woman. And this is the kind of woman of today and tomorrow. These are women warriors. They're smart. They're spiritual. They're going to have kids when they're ready to have kids, not out of some emotional connection. They're looking at their health smartly. No, this is a good woman right here. So, yeah, you want to, and of course you do have the acne telling your lymph system is backed up. It could be that pituitary suppressed your thyroid in your family trees and gave you some skin. See if you have a skin ring around that as well. Sounds like you need to get opened up, sweating and filtering through your kidneys, and just get your lymph system opened up. Bring the pituitary into some balance. Now, if there's a pituitary weakness, there might be some insomnia there, or pineal gland, so look at that as well. But upper circuit, brain, and nerve for sure. Work with those two. Work with the adrenals and kidneys and see if that corrects your blood sugar problem. Because if it is the beta cells and it's an insulin problem, then we want to work with those. The liver gallbladder formulas will help that. The pancreatic formula will help that. We don't want you on any insulin. That's when you start having real troubles, is when you take hormones or steroids. Now, you can use other things first. So that you want to look at that and get that correct. But you can correct all this stuff up, dear one, and get your body in shape. And I love your thinking. It's smart. And waiting to have the children, getting your body healthy. This is just a smart one from Bethany. Good being right there. And this is Kara. Hi, Kara. You are lovely. Ah, thank you, honey. I love you too. A true healer. Thanks, honey. I've encountered so many spiritual awakenings since fruit. Oh, look at this. This is pretty neat. I've encountered so many spiritual awakenings since fruit and herbs. Some frightening, most wonderful. Yeah, some frightening for sure. Was wondering what your perspective on hybrid fruits and herbs are. Wouldn't they be acid forming if they are man-made? No, not necessarily. They're only man-cultured, so to speak. Grafted, just grafting one to another. And it's just like mixing different races together. You're grafting, you're mixing different varieties together. And sometimes beautiful, beautiful, beautiful things come out of that. I've always said when you mix a black and a white, you have the most beautiful race on the planet. Beautiful, gorgeous. I mean, it's just man's, can create some beautiful beings. If you just start accepting everybody for who they are and their beauty and why they're here and getting to know each other good and enjoying the differences. Hey, you're cool, man. I like how you look. You're neat looking. That sort of thing. Instead of looking at the negative all the time, we got to start turning it around and think of all the positive things all the time. I never was a negative thinker first. Ugh. I can't get along with that type of thing. Wouldn't they be acid forming? According to this doctor, see, I know, but that's not true. That's not true just because they're grafted differently. It's not like you're Monsanto and you're really doing some nasty stuff. Yeah, that's a little differently. But grafting trees and stuff is just taking part of a tree and adding it to another tree, and I don't see that. There's sometimes they say that sometimes when you get away from the original strains, you're lowering the consciousness or you're lowering the electrical parts of foods. I've never seen any proof of that. When you see people coming together, they used to say that, for an example, if you have two different ethnic groups coming together, it makes a weaker group. I don't see that. I don't see that at all. Sometimes it makes for a smarter, better group. So I think a lot of things are myths out there. And we've got to turn things into myths. When it's a negative, let's turn it into a positive. Start showing the world what humans are really made of and what we can accomplish. And the great things humans can be. And the beauty a human can be, absolutely. The human can just be a tremendous being. Also, thoughts on Irish sea moss. Have you tried it before? I have. And I am into Irish sea moss. Absolutely. Ancient civilizations with most advanced technology producing free energy. They don't want that here, though. Don't you realize? They don't want you to have free energy. Look what Tesla was about, giving everybody free energy with magnets and crystals, right? Who's got that information now? According to the History Channel, the government came in and raided his house soon after. It's like, what? Sad stuff. Oh, thanks a lot, Carol. You know what? There's so much. But remember this, that's because I'll have a hybrid, for example, those organic, seedless Concord grapes are hybrids. Well, but they'll kick your butt. I mean, they're so powerful and so good. Holy moly, they kicked old Marcy's butt big time. She went out and bought 17 big pounds of them and juiced them and chugged them, and it's like, yep, nope. So sometimes people jump on these things and say things, even Dr. C, what was his name? CB or something like that. And sometimes statements are made like that, and you know, not all of us can know everything. I don't think that has a negative against him or anything at all. It's just that sometimes we make those things. That's been put out there a lot, though, is that when we hybrid things, things become weaker. And I suppose in many cases that's true. Twitchell even talked about that. But I come in and take a look at this a little deeper, in my opinion, and I don't see that. I think that sometimes mixing races is going to come out with a better race. I do. I just think that it's just how God is. It's going to experiment. That's all creation is anyway. Why do you think the all would need anything? For the fun of it, for the experience of it. You know, when you look at consciousness, it's just is. There's nothing to define it. It's not like the mind. The mind is where we define. You know, think about this. This is kind of how it works. When you look at the autonomic nervous system, I talked to some of you guys from class. Your eye, matter of fact, Megan just told me the last eyes went out. So all the eye pictures and the audios are out to you guys. Whew-wee, what a job. But your autonomic nervous system is the worker bee nervous system, right? It does the work for you. It's duality. It's dualistic. Sympathetic, parasympathetic. Comes to the back of the head, picks up the mastoid, picks up the olfactory, picks up the optic nerves, picks up the central nervous system, the overseer. The central nervous system is simply the physical counterpart to the mind. It is not the mind. It doesn't think. It's not awake. It simply is made of cells that have response mechanisms to them. We have, when we smell, taste, see something that could initiate a fight or flight syndrome, our central nervous system conveys that etherically to your astral body and to the mind, the huge mind. And that mind, in a flash, determines whether what I'm experiencing is going to be. I'm going to look through the library. The mind is nothing but a huge library of experiences. I'm going to see if that brings about an experience that I've had before, whether it's pleasurable or unhappy, whether I need to fight, run, whatever I need to do. And that, all that emotional and all that input from your higher bodies come through instantaneously, hits the adrenals, gets the adrenals neurotransmitters, as in epi and epinephrine, norepinephrine and epinephrine, to turn up energy to the nervous system. It shuts down dopamine and acetylcholine's to shut down elimination, shut down digestion to go for the muscles. All that in a flash. And you're initiating 5 different bodies, including yourself, because you are just the watcher of the movie. That's all you are. Because you get involved in your movie doesn't mean you're, that's where you lose yourself. When you pull back and become the watcher of your movie, you see all this interaction taking place. And you get to determine the movie you want to watch instead of being lost in the mind, and your movie is kind of half-assed going around by your own or lack of self-disciplined thoughts. So all of this takes place. Your consciousness, your awareness is watching as the mind is determining what the experience is all about. The emotional side, is that a good or bad? Then you got the physical counterpart. What am I doing in relationship to what I'm experiencing or witnessing? Interesting stuff, how all that is set up by God in a flash. In a flash. So it's always good to have these bodies healthy and the nervous system's healthy and things like this. Let me see. Did I finish that up? Yeah. And the herbs, yeah, I tell you, it's hard to stay on fruit and herbs and not have spiritual awakenings. It really is. Some frightening and some beautiful. But I think more important than hybrids is the quality of raising. If the soil is being nitrogen infused, Well, that acidifies the tree. When a fruit is picked unripe, your acidic stages are the growth stages. Nitrogen stages are the growth stages. And fruits aren't like vegetables. You have to pick fruits when they're ripe. And then you have a nirvanic experience. But we pick fruit unripe, which makes it more acidic, and then we acidify our fruit trees by using high nitrogen fertilizers and stuff, and all of that is ridiculous. So when you get a grove or a fruit grower that uses mulch and your properly balanced nutrients, the flavors and the beauty of that, and the sweetness, not the tartness. The alkalinity sweetness comes right out. Amazing. Delicious. Kind of like these organic mangoes I'm about to cut into. I'm about to have mangoes out the you-know-what. Wazoo. Hello, Jill. Hi, I came across a video on YouTube by a chiropractor named Eric Berg, who describes why most people's bodies are too alkaline. Oh, really? Here we go. And that they need to take apple cider vinegar in order to acidify themselves. A chiropractor, huh? Okay. He says being too alkaline, especially as we age, results in inability to absorb calcium. Holy moly. Well, I can't speak for his education, but I can certainly tell you as a biochemist and as a healer of 45 years, this guy's a wacko in his thinking and that thinking. That is, he might be a good guy on every other way, but he doesn't obviously understand the body well because there's no conclusion you can make with that. There's none. Man eats a predominantly acid ash forming diet. That's acid forming. That's not alkaline forming. So it isn't an alkaline ash that's blowing him up. These are acid forming foods. Man doesn't eat all fruit and all vegetables. You could try and make that argument. Try to make that argument with on an all fruit diet. You could try, but the trouble is that fruit even of itself is not all alkaline. It has its acid factors. Most fruits and stuff, they don't go much over 8 pH. So hard to alkalize yourself with them either. And this idea about inability to absorb calcium, that doesn't have anything to do with it. That has a lot to do, you must be in the alkaline state to absorb calcium, but you also need parathyroid hormones. I don't know what he's talking about. And the absorption of calcium, oh yeah.
We're going to go on home.
You are?
Yeah.
You're not going to go out and eat? You sure?
Yeah.
Well, here, just hit that red little dot right there. There's a little red dot. I'll be right back. All right, I'll see you then.
Okay.
I want you to take a look at the human body because, all right, what am I creating? I'm creating lactic acid at an accelerated rate, right? All right, so I'm increasing my respirations to keep up with the activity that I need, right? I'm pumping my adrenals for more epinephrine, and so I'm increasing my need for carbon. So I'm going to be maybe increasing the liver breakdown of glycogen. So I'm going to get some glucose so I can turn that to ATP, adenosine triphosphate or di or monophosphates, because I need that energy, right? Because I need that energy for activity. All metabolitic wastes, they don't break down into alkalis. They break down into acids. Activity is an acid experience. You have acid steroids. The body becomes very acidic. When you understand the body from an acid viewpoint, then you begin to see all your answers and all your questions that you've had about the body and why man goes through what he goes through answered. When you go by this chiropractor who is going by medical thinking, you don't have any answers. The proof? His theory is wrong. Our theory is right. How do you want to prove it? See, I like proving things. Now we can say that his theory's wrong and ours is right, but let's prove it. I like to prove things. So, let's take his clients versus our guys, and let's take a look at them. Hugely different. Part of the chiropractic chain that also tells people to use high-protein diets. These kind of people can kill people. You put Rose's uncle on a high-protein diet, you're just kissing that guy goodbye. And it's just, you see this all the time. This is why I had Pat here doing that one video on bicarbonate buffering. But why we wanted to bring that out is to answer people like this guy, who, by living with this theory, is missing out on, doesn't understand a thing about health at all. But these are chiropractors. Not to belittle them, I don't expect them to know about health. They're not designed to know about health. Not really. Most of them are into supplements now, and they've been into, of course, standard process labs for a long, long time. Matter of fact, a good friend of mine now is a medical doctor. He was the largest chiropractor in the country. He's the one that got standard process actually somewhat stable. So when they come up with stuff like that, you guys got to see through this, because it's stupid. It is as stupid as the day is long. When you're feeling pain and arthritis and all that, you're not feeling alkalosis. Not at all. You've lost a lot of calcium, but only from the calcium buffering system. Calcium is alkaline. It is not acid. It's one of the great electrolytes of the body. It is the main alkaline principle of the body. You can't have a body made up of a acid metal, mainly. You can't do it. The body has to be base dominant to find this proper homeostatic saturation. Two big words just meaning that the body has come to a homeostatic, a homeostasis or a balance in chemistry that is at the saturation level, where you're not going too far over one side to another. You're not ripping too many electrons out of an alkali and creating, that would be chaotic chemistry if you didn't have saturation. This is obviously the opposite of what Dr. Morse teaches. I would like to hear him comment on it. The video is called "The Real Reason Apple Cider Vinegar Works for Losing Weight." Jesus Christ. Yeah, well, you know what? My opinion, ridiculously wrong, and part of the problem. He's not part of the solution at all. And these people write books out there and give wrong information. The people that believe, like this chiropractor, are the medical people. They believe that the body is predominantly in alkalosis. Now, there's better medical doctors now understanding more about acidosis, but my dentist is now just understanding acidosis. If you don't understand acidosis and the corrosiveness of acids and the calcium and all, you don't understand why there's symptoms. If this chiropractor thinks that everything is alkalosis, then he needs to explain to you all the diseases, what causes them, where they come from. We can. See what I'm saying? So those sort of things, I try not to let them rattle me too much. But go back and look at that video that Pat and I did. She's an A&P professor and a medical doctor, and I don't think anybody like this could begin to hope a cup of tea to her, because while she was here, she helped cure a lot of people. And she's been doing it for years on her own anyway. Named Tom. Hello, Tom. Yes, Dr. Morse. I'm from Holland. Ooh. And very curious in health. Yeah. The last few months, I've been studying your videos and book. I'm very interested in your theory of human health combined with herbal medicine. Absolutely. I mean, when you understand that man made up the concept of diseases, then what are herbs here for, if not for body parts? And of course, that's exactly what they're for. When you understand which herb is for what body part, then it starts to make sense that the herbs are used for body parts. Of course, there's herbs for the lymph system, herbs for tumors. It's like an incredible drugstore with things that work. You know, when you're used to herbs and how well they work, it's like you feel naked without them. Like the salves and for bites and everything. I mean, to tell you, I can't even tell you how much I love herbs. And Twitchell came out with Herbs the Magic Healers, a book way back. And he knew then that they were indeed the magic healers. And he wasn't that much of a vitalist. He knew about health, but he wasn't a vitalist. And, you know, masters can only know what they're, you know, learn themselves. But he knew the herbs were the magic healers, and they certainly are, in every way about it. And if anybody doesn't like it, say to me. I had a huge discussion with my brother about your theory within believe in and his main knowledge about diseases. I'm the only who believes in your theory at home. Cool. His point was that I have no proof about your theory, and he got really mad because of my belief. Well, I'll say this, Tom. Show him your theory. Show him our theory in motion, in action. In other words, you can mentalize theories till the cows come home, but it's only an intellectual dig. You can Pythagorize or Socratean anything you want, but it's only an intellectual dig on it, and it means nothing in reality. Truth is that which is real, and that which can be experienced. And so all you have to do is get on your diet, get on the herbs, and show them. And let them show you their health as they get older on their diets. And you show them your health on our diets. See, applied theories. His applied theory, look around. Right now, you're looking at the medical and generally the applied theory of man in relationship to his or her understanding of health, or the lack thereof. So when someone says that and you see deaths by the millions and maimed, everyone is sick and in pain, the average person has no clue how bad it is. The average person walking on the street doesn't know that when they're walking down the street with all these people around them, that 90% of them are in pain and suffering. They just don't know it. They don't see it. They don't, are you okay today? If you went up on the street and interviewed and asked people, how you feeling, what's going on, most would have problems, including the younger ones. Look at how many young people we're dealing with here. Is that not sad? That's their theory. And they can bite back on that theory like this chiropractor can yell alkalinity all day long. Yeah, right. But your theory doesn't hold any value of truth. It's been applied, it is being applied, and all we see is not good stuff. You guys have demonstrated our theory applied, and all we see is healings. Yeah, sometimes you got some tough cases. On their side, death is the end result of their theory. On our side, you might go through some tough times, but you are going to live and have a good life. For those that literally are going to translate, you're going to have a easier way of going about it. You're going to be in a better mindset. Everything is good. You're going to work with your chosen ones, or your ones that are here to help you. So, Tom, you just ride up strong. You ride with the theory that you feel comfortable with, and show them. You know, we each must demonstrate the theory we believe in, the world we believe in, by our actions. And you want to be healthy anyway. Who cares about the rest of your family? You're the one. They're still lost in their thinking. All right. Now, what do we got here? A little small here, and I can't pronounce the name at all, so I apologize. This is a name I can't pronounce. But it says, hi, I was watching a video of Dr. Morse's on kidneys and adrenals. You videos have helped me to understand my body way, way better. Oh, I hope so. TYVM. That's what they... My health has been up and down for many years. In 2014, I had breast cancer. And while in the hospital, they did a cardiac catheterization too. Wow, cardiac cath, huh? Well, think about this, though. By the time you're diagnosed with the C word, their word for degeneration. You've been through acute, subacute, chronic, and now those cells are at the degenerative level. So your body's already been through a lot of years of suffering to get to there, or genetically speaking, as we see in the younger kids. Because you can't take a healthy human cell and make it a cancer cell overnight in any shape, form, or not. As long as you have blood and lymph flowing in and out of a cell, cleaning and feeding, and that elimination of waste are assured, and the good nutrition coming in, you have no... Matter of fact, I haven't thought of this in a long time. It was one of the things I used to talk about. When in French, they did a study, and they took a part of a chicken's heart. It's been years since I thought about this one. They kept a piece of a chicken's heart alive for, 20 years? Does anybody remember that experiment? And remember why that chicken's heart finally died? One weekend, everyone was gone out of the lab because this experiment required two things to keep this part of a chicken's heart alive for that many years. What two things? I never forgot it. Cleaning and feeding. You must feed, but you also must clean. You get your little baby home from the hospital, you're feeding them, but you also got to clean them. You don't just have one job, you have two jobs, right? Well, that's what your body has, two jobs. It has to feed, but it also has to eliminate metabolitic waste. How does it do that? Dump it into the blood? Yeah, that's for people that don't understand the body well. That's for people that just don't want to know. That's old thinking. That thinking is being, I'll say, quickly in medical thinking. We've already dispersed it. I did 20, 30 years ago. But medical thinking, they're finding little parts of the lymph system here and there, of course, and that's coming along. But they kept a part of a chicken's heart for 20-some years, and the reason it died, they forgot to clean it. It became acidic and died. It started to deteriorate. I'm just saying. When the body is properly in a base-dominant scenario, there is no reason to have decay. Plenty of buffering systems for metabolitic waste, the lymph nodes, the kidneys, everybody's filtering out. The very nature of the food you're eating is self-cleansing, self-hydrating, self-astringent. So it adds to all the chemistry of your food, also adds to its, not only to its food processing ability, but also to its elimination, because most of you realize by now that if you eat raw foods, you don't have to wipe your butt. And if you do, it's once and there's nothing on the paper because it's a clean poop. It's starch that makes it sticky, gluey, sticky, you have to wipe 3 and 4 times. Ooh, sounds bad, but think about it from a health perspective. Sticky, gluey, mucoid plaque versus nice and clean and no smell. So you have to realize eating the right food your body's designed to keeps it clean, keeps it running, keeps it up, keeps the nervous system on top, keeps the brain and the mind's relationship in good order. All these things. Good stuff. But you have to realize the acids, if you don't get them out of the body, the blowback is inflammation. And all that means. And most of these chiropractor stuff way out of their level of thinking. But all this acid, when you start to have lymph swelling, you have stagnation. To have stagnation in your body, you have to have a blockage. To have a blockage in your body, what side of chemistry is mostly responsible for blockages? Acids. Why? Agglomulation. And if the chiropractor doesn't understand that, he needs to go take a chemistry course. Might help him. You create coagulation, and so then when you shut down, when you swell and shut down the kidney's ability to filter, you're in trouble. And when your thyroid goes down because it's full of mucus from dairy products and you can't sweat anymore, then your skin goes down. Then a big part of your lymph system goes down there too. Just from drinking dairy products can fill the thyroid full of mucus and then suppress the thyroid from functioning, and then suddenly you go cold, suddenly you can't sweat, just from drinking milk. So that could set you up for anything. Being acidic, that of course is, they can call that the cancer, the breakdown of the cell, but it also can create plaquing of every kind. Everything is involved. Look at what acids create. The immune response called inflammation, the calcium, the cholesterol, the edema, not just the interleukins, all the other stuff too. I soon had a device inserted for radiation over the course of a what? I had breast cancer, and while in the hospital they did a cardiac catheterization. Okay. I soon had a device inserted for radiation over the course of a week. What? Called a SAVVI catheter? Catheter? Well, this sounds strange to me. Only had a small cancer stage 1, but I am on a cancer drug something or something for 2 years now and have to take it for another 3. But you see what you wrote me. You said, I'm on this cancer drug, anastrozole, for 2 years now. I have to take it for another 3. Is somebody standing over you with a gun or a club? I mean, by now you should understand that chemo isn't a curative factor and that they're going to take you from a simple stage 1 right on up the stages here. They're the ones going to make your stage 1 into stage 4 if you don't stop it pretty soon. You're a simple stage 1, you should have knocked this out. You're a simple stage 1 breast cancer and you can't knock this out in 3 or 4 months. Something's wrong. And you've been 2 years on it? 2 years, you can regenerate the human body immensely. There's been a few that's still working after 2 years, amazingly to me, though. I can't figure that one out. But, what are you doing? What are you doing on a cancer drug chemotherapy for 2 years now? I mean, these guys are insane. They're the mad scientists that have no facts and figures, and people buy into them because their hair goes up like, I don't know. I take other drugs for thyroid, here we go. BP, asthma, COPD, a statin drug, and a pain pill. Okay. Well, welcome to the world of the medical, okay? So her thyroid's down, all right? The lymphatic system is the main reason tissue goes down. Your tissue never goes down because of your blood, except in ischemic or when blood isn't getting to tissue. Your tissues are going to die, no question. What would be the other reason then a cell would have a problem? It wouldn't be from the blood, would it? No, it's from the lymphatic system, absolutely, and the blowback. So, I mean, you have a device that initiates radiation? What? You allow people to put that into your body like that? I would start increasing my awareness and my love for myself. That'd be the first thing I'd do, and start telling these people they're friggin' nuts. I mean, you're making your little stage 1 into something that you might not be able to stop. You know, the stage 1s, these things that when you feel a little lump, boy, those things are so easy to get rid of. Night and day, boom, 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 you're done. If you can't get rid of an egg-sized tumor within 4 months, there's a problem here. A much more serious one like lymph nodes and things like that. But even stretch it to 6, okay. So your blood pressure's high. That means what's involved? Kidneys and adrenals, right? Well, what causes their word cancer, what causes tumors to back up? What system? The lymph system. And where's the lymph system? Kidneys and adrenal glands. Okay, so your blood pressure is coming from the organs that you're having trouble with. Asthma, COPD. Okay, so there's a neurological effect to that one. It's not pneumonia. It's not just congestion. It's neurological. So you're back to your adrenal glands. Well, you're having adrenal and kidney issues because now you're having lymphatic issues. See that? The adrenals and kidneys are your main links to your lymphatic system. Period. Your thyroid and skin are your second main links. All are essential to be working to have a great healthy body. So you're on. So you need to have a practitioner, because I could sit here and tell you what I do, but you need a practitioner here to put your feet on the right path, because you need an antispasmodic. There's ways to work yourself right out of all of this. Well, the statin drug, I have to tell you, if it was me, I'd be giving that back to my medical doctor. Say, you take it. They're ineffective. They do not stop plaquing of cholesterol, and they do cause liver damage. And many a medical doctor has written. Deepak Weil and 2 other medical doctors wrote a large article on the bad side of statins. Wall Street Journal or one of them. We're going to rethink that. You want to rethink your whole thing. You want to rethink your chemotherapy. You want to rethink your device that initiates radiation. These guys won't stop. You're going to create more pain and more pain and more pain than you do. You're going to have to go on morphine. I mean, they're taking you down the road. They're walking you down to Hellville, and they're not walking with you, although they are in their own way. You want to turn, if you want Wellville, honey, you got to turn totally around. They don't know any better. These guys are ignorant. They're taking people by the masses into Hellville. We're trying to pull you guys out of Hellville to Wellville. And you need to rethink it if you're writing to me. Oh, look at this. I lived in Florida, and last year I got married and moved to Georgia as well. The weather is not good for fibro or arthritis. Oh, we've got fibromyalgia and arthritis here, huh? Well, again, you have systemic what? Alkalosis. According to this chiropractor, if you buy into that, but what do you really have? Systemic acidosis, and they're giving you a chemo pill, which is it alkaline, chiropractor? No, it's acidic. Luckily, I still visit my home down there when I can. I think you better get yourself refocused and get yourself on the right program. Your body has really got some serious problem. You got fibromyalgia. It just shows the systemicness of your lymph stagnation here. You got some problems, dear one. I do better with fruits and stuff, laying off the gluten as well. No kidding. I enjoy your tea. It is like a soothing GI cocktail. Yeah. Can you please advise what else I could try? Honey, you need to rechange your whole thinking. Not try. You want to go after this and become successful. You're only at stage 1 unless they're pushing you into the deeper stages right now, which they are. You want to turn this totally around for yourself, dear one. Refocus yourself. Get rid of that old crap that isn't working and taking you deeper into hell and pain, and start looking at the refreshing, beautiful side of our healing side. The true healing of nature, of life. Can you please advise what else I could try to improve the adrenals and kidneys? We have whole programs for you for the herbs and that. The foods and the herbs are the only things we use. I have a start of damaged kidneys. Well, no kidding, honey. You've had them all along. And my gallbladder has been inflamed. You're on a chemo pill. You're on acids that is going to inflame you from head to toe. I mean, the pill alone, it'll flame you all over the place. I mean, you're not taking candy. They want to do surgery, but if I avoid all fats, I'm okay. Oh, gallbladder. Thanks for informational videos. You are awesome. Well, sweetheart, let's see, nickname. Oh, this is Deborah. She's got another nickname. My grandma's middle name, she got a nickname, which is her grandmother's middle name. It's Teofelia. I can't pronounce that, country boy stuff. Thank God I can pronounce Deborah. But, sweetheart, honey, you sound sweet as all get out. You gotta turn this whole thing around. You turn this whole thing around. You're on a death spiral right now. These guys know nothing. You're in a death spiral. You want to turn yourself totally around. Get your lymph system moving out. If you got fibromyalgia, get all this turned around. Save your gallbladder. Get yourself on your fruits, berries, and melons diet. Get yourself on an herbal program. Not here and there. Not this herb for this. This herb. No, you're too involved here. Get on an herbal program. Even if you just did the 14-week protocol. But it didn't cost that much to have the girls talk to you or Attila. Or send it in and I'll write it up for you. But do something now. Get on the detox kit weeks 1 and 2. Get on a fruit and berry melon diet, or put yourself on a 20-day grape diet and start it now. Start backing off on the things that's killing you. That's all I can tell you. You're on a wrong way street. Going the wrong way. Ooh, spinal stenosis. Here's spinal stenosis, adrenal kidney cysts, and adrenal. And I never can pronounce that correctly. It gives me a tongue twister. We'll leave it at that. Dr. Morse, I pray God will bless you with a long life. Oh, thanks. Ugh. That means I have to stay on this planet long? No thanks. We need you to show us the way back to health. We're doing it. We're doing it together. We're all doing great here. Everybody heal. Hildy had a fall. Hildy, damn it. Walk straight. Might have broke a rib, messed up her knee. Hildy had a fall out walking, out hiking. You can't got that. You've got some wild mountain terrains out there in the Badlands. I tell you. My mother, 70 and a half years old, has a very severe case of spinal stenosis along with adrenal adenomos, whatever you call it, and cysts on her kidneys. She has been on the kidney caps and drops, plus lymph, plus adrenals, endocrine gland. I switched between the two, good idea. And stomach caps for almost a year, no improvement. Oh, wow. Well, you know what, man? If she's 70 and a half, if she's willing to, you've got to get her up on the fruits and berries and melons. You might be able to give her a salad a day, but you've got to get her up on the diet. The herbs alone are not going to do this. You've got to get her kidneys filtering. So you want to make sure, get with her and, tell her to pee in a jar and make sure she's filtering, because you've got to get her filtering if you're going to correct this stenosis here. You got to get the kidneys filtering. You got to get all this acid hydration in her and get that involved. That'll start to hydrate these tissues. After a while, that stenosis will loosen up, and all of the calcium will go back into matrix or be excreted. All of that will take place. I can't believe why she has had no improvement unless the diet's involved. The problem is getting her kidneys and adrenal glands back in shape, because that's the doorway we need to fix this problem with. It's just lymph stagnation, upper spine or lymph in her back and all this. You can work on the neurolymphatics and help her a little bit with that. She's 70 years old. She's going to have to work on the kidneys and adrenals. I would do two kidney formulas, one lymphatic formula, say a lymphatic. We'll start with 1. Move her through a 5 if her liver enzymes are good. Move her through the lymphatic 5 once, and then back to number 1 again. Go after her just like you're doing. I like the fact you're doing the adrenals. I would do the adrenals and the endocrine gland both. See what her blood pressure is. See if it's coming down in good shape, okay, because you want her blood pressure. It might take her a while to get everything coming down and everything okay, get those kidneys to filter. So you just have to see how that is. But dig in a little better with the diet. That's her key. If she's eating any acid foods, that's going to slow her down. She doesn't want to do that. She needs to be 100% raw and going down that road. You're talking about regeneration now. And that is to take hardening and calcifications and dissolving them. So the body has to be hydrated, the lymph has to be filtering through, and everything has to be breaking up and loosening up when that happens. I would also, she's 70, I do upper circuit and lower circuit, brain and nerve to keep her alive and well. That lower circuit can help a great deal in moving blood through the kidneys better. That's going to help a little bit better. And filtration, the 24-hour dry fast and stuff, I don't know where she's at with that, but I'll try to get her going, because once you get her kidneys filtering, you're going to see a lot better improvement quicker. That's for sure. I recently added the pain plus spasm drops. Some improvement, but not constantly. She is 98% fruit. Good deal, good deal, good deal. Okay. She has much stress. I'm unable to take good quality photos of her eyes. You try a glandular, try a 400 milligram adrenal glandular on that too, and see if that'll bump up the kidneys a little better. You can keep on the adrenal herbal side, but you might want to bump that. Even if you just did a 200 milligram adrenal glandular, just to see if that's a little bump up. Because she can, at 70, she probably has real stagnation there. And just don't get dismayed about it. Just keep working her and working her and working her. The fact that you got a 70-year-old lady on 98% fruit's pretty good. I am taking your course, but not learning fast enough to help her. It's painful to watch her suffer. We'll call up to one of the counselors and just get an appointment of an hour or something to talk to them and have them lay you out of coursework. Yeah, I don't like to see people suffer either. I hate that. I do too. I can't stand it. It's easy to kill someone, but to suffer, that's not good. What am I missing? Well, you're doing the fruits. I think that's good. Make sure that 2% isn't anything acid forming. You got 2 kidney formulas. You wanted adrenal. Excuse me, up late last night. Oh, God. Sorry. I didn't go to bed till about 3 this morning. I stay up and meditate and overview. I'm trying to put this naturopathic school together. There's so many things I'm working on. I'm working on this lymphatic iris chart. I almost have it done. This is the neat things coming, I think. And hopefully I'm getting some more books laid out. And there's just a lot of work to do, but I'm hoping you guys will like what our future is and bringing out more truth and make it more accessible. And it's fun stuff. Fun when you start to feel better and pulling people out of this despair, but don't give up here. The adrenals might be your connection, You're saying she's under a lot of stress, and she could keep her adrenals down with that. Bring her some flowers, bring her attitude. If she has any depression, we're going to repair her thyroid a little bit. Bring that up a little bit as well. Everything is probably stagnant at 70 years old, so invigorate and energize. Keep working with that. She is in a toxic, see, here's the problem right here. And believe it or not, and you guys will see that in working with others. There's little adrenal glands. It's called the astral body, the emotional body.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. That's tough, okay, because here she is. She's in a toxic relationship, and that'll hold you down. No matter how good you're doing, your mate can hold you down. And when your mind is stronger than your physical body, by far, it is the creator of creation. It is the creator of your dharma, your journey. So your mind and emotions are much more powerful than your little physical body. So they can sit down and you can do, and this is a good case for, this guy's doing everything right for his mother. This could be even a female, I don't know. And yet the mother's slow to respond. And I think one thing is this toxic relationship for sure, because I think you saw the video of her. She's a chiropractor's wife. And I had her up and walking at 7 months. And you see the video up there online there. Then she went over, she's from, I think, Czechoslovakia or somewhere like that. She went over and spent some time with her family, just for a couple of weeks or so. Her dad and her have an extremely toxic relationship. She came back not being able to walk anymore, and she struggled to get back to it. And I don't know what the answer is sometimes to some of these things like that. When you get into these extremely toxic relationships, you have to realize these are souls, powerful beings that you're just maybe looking at their physical side, but they also have an astral and a mental side. And I tried to tell her, your dad could have a power over you, and she thinks he does, and it says, you've got to get him off of you. He's an entity to you. These are just different. Everybody around you is a different being. You can call them humans or beings or entities or whatever else. But when you're looking at someone with a physical body, you're only looking at one little bitty minor piece of them. You don't see their, unless you got that ability, you don't see their astral body or their mental body or who they are as consciousness, because we don't look at those. Now, some of us are trained to look at those. And we try to get you to look beyond the little physical shell to who is that being. And that's true of your children too. Remember, we talked about that. Who are these beings that you brought in here? Where did they come from? What journey are they on? What do they know? We don't. Oh yeah. Oh no, this is intriguing to say the least. So she has to get her warrior woman back. She has to get into herself and say, enough. I've suffered from your idiocy and your power over me. Enough. You know, there's a point when the ladies and the men, but particularly the females, say enough's enough from the abusive male principle, from the acid principle. Because in more cases, it's the males that are more abusive to the females. There's abusive females, no question. She's constantly scared and stressed. Well, there's your answer. My opinion, that's one of your big answers right there, my friend. Working on a way out. She needs to get out. Well, maybe you can help her get out. You know, she needs help. And the problem is, if you don't start out in a relationship where you keep your own checking accounts, your own things, the male sometimes has dominance. They control the purse strings and everything, and the woman has no chance of getting out. But I've helped some get to halfway houses and then they go back. So you have to work this out, you know. I don't know. You have to work this out. In the meantime, is there a way to reverse her conditions? Absolutely reverse them. She has to do everything you're doing like we were just talking about. But she has to learn how to cut off the relationship. Excuse me. Mucoli. She has to stand up to her relationship and say no. If she fears a beating, then she needs to call the cops. But they don't take that. You know, cops take that in this country very seriously. Now, I don't know about in other countries, but they take this domestic abuse extremely seriously. You can get your butt in jail for doing stuff like that. See, I'm going to take a little break here. Let me go over one more. I just grab one smaller one here, and then we'll come back. I've got all week. We're going to have a rainy week, and I'm going to sit here. I'm going to come back after lunch and go through some more. Maybe we'll cut this one off and we'll do small ones. How about, let's do that. We'll do small ones. I'll do another one this afternoon, and then I'll do a couple tomorrow, and I'll do small ones. Unless something comes up. This is Dane. Hi, my name is Dane from Louisiana. I'm a 24-year-old male with extreme depression and anxiety, man. Well, I don't like that. All right, so now let me ask you, you're 24 years old, do you have balding? See, when you have depression right off, you know there's a parathyroid weakness. I want you to all know depression is not something that's mental. Depression generally is a actual physiological issue. Low calcium utilization. Did you have growing pains growing up? Did your legs hurt? Do you feel like you had muscle pains? That's another sign of low calcium utilization, is what they call growing pains. But we're looking at the parathyroid gland. And the parathyroid gland is where you utilize calcium. So you want to take a look at your parathyroid. Get a picture of your eyes, bro. Take a look at your parathyroid. Look at your pituitary. And if you're going balding, I submit to you, your pituitary is suppressing your parathyroid and could be also suppressing adrenals. I get that I could probably make almost a blanket statement and say that 99% of all 24-year-olds have adrenal and kidney weaknesses worldwide. And I probably would be pretty damn close to being accurate. So you're already set up for anxieties and a neurological weakness. That's why there's so much ADD and so much of this in the vaccination worlds. They don't understand what's going on. And the fact that people are born with chronic myelin sheath depression and weaknesses. They don't get that. All these babies are not cut from the same cell and the same fabric. So at 24, big time. So these are definitely genetics. So you want to take a look at the pituitary, look at your height, look at all these things involved. But your eyes will tell the story right off. And you can correlate with that with all the other stuff clinically. I'm on the SSRI. I'm not sure what this drug is. 10 milligrams currently. I was at 40 milligrams. Oh, you got down to 10, which is good. But slowly reducing my dose because if the side effects, oh God, yeah. Well, to back it up, you want to put yourself on 100% raw. You want foods that make you smile. Fruits make you smile because they taste good. They're neurological. They enhance your comprehension levels. So fruits and things that taste like that and berries, those are really good for that. You can use some flower essences instead of pharmaceuticals even to titrate even more. Get moonshine yarrow here from Fox Farm, Running Fox Farms. Really great lady, great Running Fox Farms, and they're great flower essences. I think they're better than the box myself, but you could get, she has emergency relief, you could get that as well. Use flower essences to support you, but you want to go into your body, go after your adrenals and kidneys, and that's with herbs, and if your blood pressure is real low, bro, get on a glandular for your adrenals. That's your anxiety, your emotions, your breathing. That's that side of it. Depression and that, we're up here now. We're up here. And that, you want to correct that parathyroid, because that could be your skeletal system. Oh, your skeletal system and everything else. So you want to really go after that parathyroid. And I'm going to say that probably a pituitary. Probably going to have to go after that. I've been watching your videos for a while now and recently ordered the Fab 4 kit to help move lymph. And really want to get upper circuit, brain and nerve. I would do upper circuit, brain and nerve. At 24, if you can afford this, upper circuit, brain and nerve, you're going to love it. Then I'm going after my endocrine glands. I'm going after my adrenals, my parathyroid, my pituitary, because I can tell you, probably there. But I'm also going after those kidneys, and I'm going to get filtration. I'm 24 years old. If I'm not filtering, I'm in for some serious trouble. And if I'm balding, I know I'm in for serious trouble. So I'm going upper circuit, brain and nerve right off. Right? I'm trying hard to stop eating meat because of the high acidosis. But when I eat only fruit, I'm always hungry. A couple of hours later is something else. Well, my man, you might want to, close your ears, ladies, deworm yourself. You might want to do the first kit. You know, it's a kit that opens up everything. It deworms everything. You might want to get into that. And defungal yourself and deworm yourself, because generally when you're hungry like that, sometimes you have other people involved. And you might want to, kind of clean house a little bit that way, and then everything will settle down to that. And get used to wanting to feel a little hungry when you're detoxifying. I'm just saying, when you're detoxifying, you want to push away from the table just a little hungry, because it'll help detoxification a lot. But if you fill up constantly full, you'll take some of that detox energy out. Remember, the body is the one that detoxifies itself. We're just giving it the power to do it. We're giving it the energy, the nutrition. We're taking away digestive energy and all this. We're giving it things that help it to clean itself. Astringent value chemistry, high electrolytes to bring hydration and break apart agglomulation and break away the acids and the pain. Reduce the swelling, get all the edema out, because everything is going back to normal. That chiropractor can't do that for you, because he believes the opposite of that. And as long as he believes that, he'll never be a healer at all. He might be able to snap, snack, crackle, pop, but that doesn't say he's a good healer. And that also brings into question his ability to do that. When you're off in your biochemistry and your healing and you don't understand health, then I also want to take a look at your chiropractic understanding, and do you know kinesiology and all the other stuff that would make you a better chiropractor. I'm going to read one more. This is from Ashley Ross. Holy crap, I can't even pronounce that word. painful fingers. Hello, my name is Ashley, and I'm 17 years old. 17! She's just getting her license to drive and have some fun in life. All right? And ever since last year, when she was 16, in the early spring, I've been experiencing terrible finger pain. Is that what that means? Dyshydrasis? Something like that. At first, it started off small, and I thought it would go away, but then the fluid-filled blisters. Now, pop that blister, get yourself a pH paper, and test the fluid in the blister. I want to show you something. And it's not alkaline. What is it going to be, honey? Acidic. Absolutely. That's your lymph system. Those little blisters, that's lymph fluid. See how that fluid pops? That's acidic lymph fluid. Absolutely. It just shows you're stagnant there. And you got to get your kid, but you're only 17 years young. So that tells me, as a healer, that tells me right off you're not filtering, and she probably has adrenals down, and what else? Because she's only 17 years old, and 17-year-olds and younger are really getting genetically beat up. If you come from good gene family, you're lucky. All right, so first it started out with small, and then I thought it would go away, but then the fluid-filled blisters increased on my pointer finger on my right hand. Then they spread to my finger and ring finger, then to the pointer finger on my left hand. I think the cause may be stress due to all the academics. Well, this is your adrenal glands, and this is your lymphatic system. The stress on top of that, oh yeah, you're right on. You're right on, honey. Yeah, absolutely. You're stressed and trying to get through the academics and stuff like that, and that's my point. School should be fun, not stressful. And you're learning all this crap from other people, and it's needed when you're into aerospace and things, of course. But not in this profession. Not in this profession. Half of what's already written is not even true. So that's a problem there. But you want to go after, I think the cause may be stress. Well, that's compounding the problem by shutting your adrenals down even more, stressing that lower back and kidneys. And, just get a jar and pee in it, dear one. Just get yourself a mason jar and pee in it tonight or whenever you see this video and take a look. If it's clear, you're at 17 years old, you're in trouble. Your kidneys are not filtering at 17 years old. That's a problem. But I contest to you that probably with all these lymph blisters like this, these acid things, yeah, and you probably have some viruses in your body as well. So you really want a big detox. Clean out the body. Get the kidneys filtered. Make sure your skin is sweating. And that if you can't sweat, come down to Florida here for a few weeks and work in my gardens. I'll get you sweating. And open up your doors. Get all these acids out, and all these will recede and go away. If not, you're going to start getting real stiff and tight and sore. Then there goes the elbows. Then there goes the neck. Just one thing after another. Then there goes the body. This isn't good. Because you don't want to get into the sclerodermic and any of these kind of nightmares from holy heck getting into these high acid diet conditions at your age. No. Turn this around on yourself, dear. I undertake, and the sleep deprivation I endure throughout the school year. Oh, honey. Well, try to spend time in using your mind, but you need to spend time while you're studying. Study and kick back and meditate and allow yourself to see what you just studied. Don't let the mind always try to figure it out because you'll overstress yourself. The mind has not seen what you're studying. It can't figure it out anyway. You're a unique individual. So let that kind of have time to filter back and let the mind have a chance to put it in its proper library and category. Because that's what your mind does. It's going to put all this information in your own in your own library. It's got its library. But that's the universal mind. You're engaging your individual mind. So you want to do that, but you want to pull back from the mind and look at what you're learning. Not try to intellectually see what you're learning. You want to look at what you're learning from a distance and see how it fits in what you're studying. And you'll understand it more if you keep learning from the mind, thought, cramming, and I'm gonna remember this and make myself remember this and this and this and this, that's the worst way to learn there is. Because then you're learning by memory. And when you get out in the real world, memory doesn't always suit you. So when you pull back, you want to know what you're learning and where it fits while you're learning it. Because there's an old saying in education, and I had it in my school, if you think you're going to go back and restudy this, you're wrong. The chances are you going back and restudying something is ridiculous. You want to learn it in the moment of learning it, but you want to learn it from how it fits in the all of things. And it'll stay with you better. Just saying, there's a little secrets in learning in education. Keeping the mind learning separate than your consciousness a little bit. Takes a little work to learn that, I'm here to tell you, but it's a lot more freeing, and you will always have the memory, and you will know instead of require memory. Knowing something is a lot different than conjuring up the memory of something. So, just a little pointers there, I think. Let me see. I've been very distressed because I get so discouraged about my skin. Thought so. And I want to find what is causing it. Well, you only have to look to one system. Notice that there's no blood in those pustules. There's no blood, is there? That's why it's not interstitial. It's lymph fluid. Yeah, and it just shows that your cuppeth runneth over, my dear, and now your skin is showing these bumps and expressions, like little pimples and tumors and boils and cysts. Just drinking milk, I used to get boils all the time. It's all mucus forming. It all burdens the lymphatic system, and then when the body goes to get rid of it, everybody freaks out. Well, it's called cold and flu-like symptoms, rashes and pustules and all kinds of things on the skin. When your body gets loaded, it's trying to get it out. Well, medical doctors say, oh, we got to stop that. Well, that's what happens in time. When you stop the acute, when you stop the subacute, when you stop any of these stages, you're making for the deeper stages. There wouldn't be chronic and degenerative conditions if everybody always cleaned up your acute conditions. Easy. Just quit eating the foods it's creating them. But learn how to maybe do that a little bit, but dig in and get your thyroid up here, dear one, to where your basal temperature's under your arm are around 98, because you want to sweat. You want to open up subcutaneously. You don't want to hold these acids under, because then you'll pop these little pustules all over the place. Then you'll get cysts on the kidneys, cysts on this, cysts on that. This is just what happens. And it's the lymphatic system. This isn't the blood system. There's only two in there. Which one you're going to pick? People make like the body some deep, mysterious thing. You got things going in. Quit it. Stop. Stop. Your car is mysterious until you learn how it's put together, and everything has a reason for existing. This turns this on. This is the... I can't seem to find the root issue. The root issue, my dear one, is your diet and your parents' diet and the diets that have wrecked the human body. What is the one thing that we do that can create any problem? Is play with chemistry. Playing with chemistry is the problem. Good chemistry and there's bad chemistry, and everything on this planet is chemistry. You cannot live on this planet in the physical universe without living and swimming and breathing in a world of chemistry. You are enmeshed in it. It's like being under the water. You are literally enmeshed in spirit, in consciousness, in mind, in emotion. You're enmeshed in it. We have different bodies to channel it and to reduce it from the all of consciousness, to reduce it so we can identify it and use it to experience and play with it. Cool stuff when you figure out how it's all put together, ain't it? Or at least as much as you can, because it's as much as you can. The root cause might be stress. No, that's the exacerbator. And I can never seem to get rid of it long enough for my body to regenerate. Well, here's what you do too. Get yourself moonshine yarrow. It's perfect for stress. or emergency relief, or find you. She's got a whole bunch of essential or flower essence. Find the one that's perfect. So when you study, you got a good attitude while you're studying, and your channels are opening. Upper brain and nerve. Remember that I told you the professional gambler came up to me in class and said she just loves my brain and nerve because it gives her an edge. And she says it gives her an edge. And I've used it, and it gives you an edge. It is an edge. You want upper brain and nerve while you're going to school, guys. I'd be pumping it like it was candy. Upper brain and nerve. This flower essence is to cool you down. The brain and nerve and upper to give you the overview and you're going to learn and grow and retain. I'm telling you, there's a ways to approach this at another level. A much more desirable level. Because you just don't want the degree when you get out. You want the awareness, because your reputation, the quality of your expression, determines what you know or don't know. And in today's world where you can either help others or not help others. Now we get to more of it. Also, I have some type of dermatitis or eczema. Here we get to the rest of it. On my back, and it itches a lot too. Well, you're full of fungus, honey. I'll maybe buy the hunger too, but you're full of fungus. That's the itching. And I've itched. It just feels good to itch. It feels so good even when the skin and you're bleeding. It still feels good to itch. It hurts like hell, but it feels so good. We all get that one. But this is what's going on. You got some serious lymphatic stuff going on here. You got your kidneys down, your adrenals are down, of course, and then when you're stressed on top of that, then everybody's going down on top of that. I also have here's more. I also have mild acne on my face. See, this is where you don't want it, in the head area. That's acids in the head area, so your hair can start thinning, and for a woman to lose her hair, not good. And you can get to where your eyebrows fall off. You can't grow eyebrows anymore. Your jewelry turns on your skin. This is extreme. Oh, no, I forgot. That's alkalosis. No, I forgot. Jesus criminy. Yeah, so here it is. You have sebaceous cysts removed from your back. Yeah, see, honey, your lymph system is a mess. You want to go learn everything you can on this site about your lymph system and how to go after it, and go after it. You're only 17. You get yourself out of this trouble, and you'll have a good life, and you want out of this trouble. And these glands fixed before what? Before you bear children, my dear one. Before you bear children, you fix this problem, or you're passing a nightmare on to your kids, which your mama already did to you. So you want to fix this up early on, and let your mother know she's got some things to work on in herself, because she gave you most of this. This is my last hope. This is not your last hope, Ashley. You can do this. We cure this stuff up night and day. Not diseases. That's medical doctor's world. But cleaning up acidosis, skin rashes, tumors, cysts, that's all our job. We clean all of that up. Snake bites, rattlesnake bites, spider bites, all of those sort of things we're into here. We like to repair animals too, by the way. This is your last hope. This is your last stop, and make it your last stop. But you have to do the work. You have to do what it takes to get yourself out of trouble. You need to be 100% raw diet right now. Understand the lymphatic system as we teach it. Get yourself on a kit. You might want to get on the first kit, everybody. Deworm yourself just to make sure you're dewormed. Go after the fungus too. You want to stay on Parasite M for about 3 months. And go after yourself, dear one. Make sure your kidneys are filthy. Go after your adrenal glands. And learn how to learn properly. And you'll enjoy your class better. This is Ashley Ross. Thank you, my dear Ashley. Ashley, you know what I'm talking about, too. All right, I think that we'll get this up, and then I'll come back and we'll do another one this afternoon, because it is 1 o'clock, y'all, I say. All right, love you guys, and thank you so much for putting up with this old man. But I'm so proud of you guys, and the stories and what you've done to your children and yourselves, and the healing you're getting. Amazing. Amazing. You guys have brought the light to a very dark world.